video.
Never ask why, 'cause he's made up his mind. He's a fighter, got that fire. When they thought he'd fade away, throws a fist up as he gets up, feeling stronger every day. When he gets down on his knees, he finds the courage to believe. He's a fighter who inspires me.
All right. You guys hear me okay? Sweet. So tonight we start this fighter series, and I'd love to hear about people's lives, and I love to hear stories about people and what they've been through, because the funny thing about it is and the cool thing about it is God works differently in different people's lives, okay? And he does different things through people that maybe he wouldn't do through somebody else. But it's always really interesting, and it blesses me to hear stories of people that have been through ordeals, tragedies, things that have happened to them to where they have continued to just press on. And over this series, we're going to be looking at 4 different people who have really gone through a lot of stuff, just a lot of junk. And they've been through tragedies, and they've continued to run the race, because, I mean, our life is a race, and we can choose to run it for God and stay connected with God, or we can choose to just give up. And over this series, you'll find that these people, they did not give up, and they pressed on. Tonight, I want to, and I wish she was here, but I'm going to do my best to kind of introduce you to Trudy Hankins. And there she is right there. Trudy is the mother of 4 children: Sierra, Camry, Logan, and Spencer. Trudy is your average woman in her mid-40s. She's been married 25 years. She loves her kids. She loves her life. She actually, later on in life, she decided to go back to school. She'll be getting her master's in 2015. And after that, she plans on pursuing a teaching position at a college in Texas. And the reason why I chose Trudy Hankins is because, by all accounts, she looks healthy, she looks happy, everything is going her way, and she has a good life. But what you don't know is there's something that happened on April the 7th of 2013 that completely shook her up and shook her family up as well. I want to take you back to that day, April 7th, 2013. And I want to read to you from a blog that she put out that kind of takes you through this day that would forever change her and her family. I want to read just a little bit from that. 5 p.m., April the 7th, 2013. I'm at home in my favorite red chair, working on homework. There are 4 weeks left in my final semester of undergraduate studies. My husband, Patrick, is across the house in the kitchen getting ready to prepare our dinner. He has just put the sausage on the stovetop to brown. Patrick and I have been married almost 25 years, and we're planning a cruise with another couple in June to celebrate our anniversary. We have 4 children. Sierra, a first semester senior at college in Texas. She plays center for their women's basketball team. Camry, who is 15 months younger than her sister, is a newlywed living in our hometown with her husband, Trey. Logan, who is a sophomore in high school, is an aspiring athlete, intellect, and musician. And finally, Spencer, the baby of the family. He's in 7th grade, loves to read, play video games, enjoys The Hobbit, and is a Star Wars fan. Life is very good to us as a family. I want to fast forward on that day to 5:30. My cell phone rings. It's our youth pastor, Katie. Do you know where Logan's at? He went out for a run. Well, someone's been hit by a train. Oh my goodness, Katie. He runs the tracks. I knew immediately. Just short of throwing my laptop on the floor, I yell to Patrick across the room as I run out of my bedroom. We have to find Logan. Someone's been hit by a train. He knows immediately too. We race out of the house, each taking separate vehicles. Desperation overtakes me. I see the train has stopped on the tracks, essentially dividing our town in half. So I go toward the overpass that will take me to the other side of the tracks. I'm fighting against my instincts. I'm crying out to God, yelling in my car, no, no, no. God, please not Logan. I find a dirt road that will lead me to the tracks. I then turn and start driving along the tracks. Again, desperation has overtaken me. My eyes are searching frantically, hoping against what my gut is telling me. The road I turn onto is nothing more than ruts, probably what the railroad company uses for their service vehicles. There are mud holes, weeds growing as high as my windows. I don't care. I have to find him. I need to be smart. If I keep driving along these ruts, I'm going to get stuck. I need to turn around. I'm going to tear up my car. I've got to keep my head about me. I turn around and start to head back. My fears of getting stuck are realized. I try to free my car from the mud hole and only end up spinning my wheels even deeper. I stop so as not to create a bigger mess. I get out of the car and I start yelling, Logan. Nothing. Logan. Still nothing. I have to keep trying. I have to find him. What if he's alive? I have to keep looking. I yell for him again. No response. My gut tells me there's no point in yelling, but I don't want to hear that. I'll call Patrick. He would have found him by now. I go back to my car and call Patrick. No answer. I try again. Still no answer. I'll call Brandon. Brandon is the fire chief. And in our small town, he's the commander for the first responders. Going to my contacts list on my iPhone, I tap Brandon's name. He answers. Brandon tells me that Patrick is with them, which puts me at ease a little bit. Brandon confirms that yes, Logan was indeed the one hit by the train. I ask Brandon if Logan is dead. He avoids answering me and asks where I am. I tell him I'm stuck and attempt to explain my location. I'm still frantic. I continue pushing Brandon for an answer. He continues to avoid answering me. I finally yell at him over the phone, "Brandon, just tell me if my son is dead." Poor Brandon, I put him between a rock and a hard place with my demands. Understand, when I said earlier that we lived in a small town, I meant it. If you include those who live in the county, our population reaches a whopping 800. Brandon is not only our fire chief, but I also know him personally. He's a friend. After saying this, Brandon does choose to tell me. He is gentle with his words and calmly lets me know that yes, it was Logan, and yes, it appears that he is dead. I want to show you this video just real quick of what transpired as far as the news story on this. I want you to take a look.
A Welch High School student died after being hit by a train this weekend. The Highway Patrol says 16-year-old Logan Hankins was jogging on the train tracks while wearing a pair of headphones. Our Grant Sloan went up to Craig County to see how the small community is coping with the loss.
Just an all-around amazing young man.
In this high school of just over 100 students, the death of Logan Hankins is like losing a family member. Logan's youth minister, Katie Nair, says the sophomore always carried a smile and would often go out of his way to talk with younger students.
You don't find teenagers very often that care that much, to pour into little kids. I'm talking 5 and 4-year-old.
After learning of his death Saturday, dozens of classmates gathered at Logan's church to remember the football, basketball, and baseball player. Today during class, counselors were joined by pastors from the community like Tyson Wynn.
He is the kind of kid he didn't have, everybody was his friend.
Wynn says Logan was passionate about his faith and says the posts on Facebook show that it could be seen in his actions.
I had more respect for you than any other person I went to school with. Taught me more lessons just by how you carried yourself and with your attitude.
Logan's principal says the 16-year-old was a model student and had just been accepted to the Afton Votech School of Math and Science.
Very happy young man, very, very intelligent, hard worker.
He says Logan had aspirations to play college football and had just left the gym when he went for a jog on the train tracks.
It's very hard on your staff, it's very hard on your students.
Logan's principal says it will take time to get over this tragedy, but those who knew him say he's gone on to a better place.
Just everything that Logan did was all about where exactly God was leading him. You don't find young people like that very often.
The school has canceled track events and baseball games this week leading up to Logan's funeral. It'll be held at the Civic Auditorium in Welch at 10 o'clock Thursday morning. Grant Sloan, News on 6.
A Welch High School student died after being hit by a train this weekend.
The death of Logan Hankins, that's kind of another sermon altogether. So what I want to concentrate tonight on is Trudy Hankins and the thing that happened and the tragedy that happened, the devastation that must have caused her. I wouldn't even want to imagine what it would be like to lose a child. The point tonight that I kind of want to get across to you guys is that Trudy is a fighter. While this happened in her life and she lost a child, she did not cease or stop living her life. She continued. Now, here's the thing. While we're going over this series, listen, while we're not going to be talking about a fighter as in boxing, we're going to be talking about as far as a fighter in life and pressing on through tragedies and through things that have happened, circumstances that, we can't control sometimes. Things that have happened in our life that we cannot control. Now, we're not talking about, listen, there's choices that sometimes that we make that cause those circumstances to happen. But sometimes, just like with Trudy and the Hankins family, listen, that was a tragedy. That was circumstances that happened to them that they were not in control of. Okay? And sometimes there are things that happen in our life that we are not in control of. So, as we start this tonight, I want to look at John 16, verse 33. It says this, it says, I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. You notice it says there, here on earth you will, not that you might, not that you will every once in a while. It says you will have trials and sorrows and things that happen in your life that aren't necessarily good. But he says, look, take heart. I have already overcome the world, and I am your comforter, and I am your strength in those times where you're going through the bad stuff. So, what is it? Actually, I want to give you a few quotes before we go there. And these guys are legendary, or boxing legends. One of them is Roberto Duran. And no, I'm not related to him. He is Mexican, but I'm not related to him at all. It says this, a quote from him, says, getting hit motivates me. A fighter takes a punch, hits back with 3 punches. Sometimes we get knocked down, and sometimes we take stuff. But he says what? Hits back with 3 punches, as in taking on the offense and continuing to press on. Lennox Lewis, another legend as far as the boxing world goes, says, the fight will last as long as I allow it to last, and then I will knock him out. Sometimes, you know what? We hurt ourselves, and sometimes we give up. We just give up in life, and we don't want to press through the tragedies and the bad circumstances and the things that happen to us. We don't want to press on. But the thing about it is God is calling us to press on, and God is saying, continue to run the race for me, and be strong, and be courageous, because I am with you. This last one, Sugar Ray Leonard says, you have to know you can win. You have to think that you can win. You have to feel that you can win. Do you understand that, guys, God has equipped us with the strength and the know-how, the wisdom, and everything that we need to run the race and to win this thing and to press on through the bad things that happen in our life. I want to take a look at 2 things that helps you to be a fighter. Romans 15:13 says this. It says, I pray that God, the source of hope, will fill you completely with joy and peace because you trust him. Then you will overflow with confident hope through the power of the Holy Spirit. Then you will overflow with confident hope through the Holy Spirit. The first thing is your trust. The first thing that helps you to be a fighter and to press on and to not give up is your trust in the one who has already overcome the world. Listen, if we don't trust God and just surrender everything to God, then yes, listen, bad circumstances and things that come up in our life that aren't good are going to overtake us. Do you understand? They're going to keep us down. We have to trust God, and we have to keep that connection with God in order to get through it. Angie had, like last week or a week and a half ago, maybe not even that long ago, but last week, she had a horrible, she was sick and just it was bad, okay? And she was the kind of sick, listen, that, you ever been this sick where, like, somebody asks you what's wrong, and you don't even, you can't even say words. Like, you just say, You know what I mean? Like, you ever been that sick to where like you just can't even really talk and pronounce your words? She was that sick. It was like I would ask her like, how are you, or what's wrong? What is it? Okay, it was that bad. And me, as the man, the guy, you know what? I want to fix it. I want to fix the problem. I think I told her once to go take a shower, like thinking, like I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, to go take a shower. A shower doesn't help you necessarily when you're sick. So epic fail on my part on that. But what I'm saying is this. Listen, sometimes we want to fix stuff so badly that we won't trust God with it. That we won't surrender it to God because we want to have control. And we want to fix it. When God is saying, listen, if you want to know how to persevere, and you want to know how to press on and to keep going, then listen, put your trust in me completely. Put your trust in me and surrender it to me. And then, guess what? I will give you the strength to get through it. Okay? I will give you the strength to get through it. So trust. What is trust? It's the firm belief in the truth, the ability, or strength of someone or something. It's the firm belief in the truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Do you trust God with everything in your life? Are you trusting Him completely, or are you trying to just run things yourself? Complete surrender to God says, you know what? God, I'm going to give it completely to you. Everything that is in me, my life, everything. I'm going to give it completely to you. I'm going to trust you. And yes, you know what? I may be a little bit scared to do that because, again, it's that whole control thing. I want to be in control. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know what I'm going to be doing next week. I want to know what I'm going to be doing a year from now. I want to know. But God is saying, listen, just trust me. Put your faith and your trust in me, and I'll take you there. Okay? Your trust in the one who has already overcome the world. The second thing tonight is recognizing God in your circumstances. Do you guys know who Waldo is? Yeah. Where's Waldo? Yeah. Okay. Waldo is, you know, that picture. That's not Waldo, but that's cute though. That's a little baby. Waldo is that usually in a picture, and you got to try to find Waldo. Okay. The thing about it is sometimes we focus so much. You focus so much on your circumstances and maybe the tragedies that have happened in your life or the bad things that you do not focus on God. You focus on the tragedies and the bad things. When God is saying, look, just focus on me. Colton, come here for a second. I want you to stand just in that box, okay? I want you to stand right there for a minute, okay? The thing about it is sometimes, just like Waldo, okay? Waldo is in a picture. You have to really, really look, and you have to sit there, and you have to like concentrate for a few minutes to find out where Waldo is. Sometimes it seems as though that God is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. But I would ask you tonight, are you looking? Are you concentrating, and are you looking for God in your bad, horrible circumstances? Because here's the thing that happens. Listen, God is there. God never goes anywhere. Okay? God is here. Listen, we're the ones that go away from Him. And as I go further and further, like, look, right now, I can completely see you, right? I can completely recognize that you're Colton and you have a University of Tulsa shirt on and it's blue and you're awesome. You're a buff dude. Way to go. Okay, I can completely see that. But as I get further and further away from him, remember, God never goes anywhere. God is always the same. God doesn't go away from us. As I get further and further away from him, okay, right here, yeah, I can still see you. Okay? I can recognize who you are. But guess what? If I go out here, the further I go away from him, listen, the more I'm not able to see him. That is why that connection with God is so important, and the relationship with God is so important, because I can go over here, look, and I can still see him, but if I go out here, I can't see him. I can't see him. All right? I've got to be here. I've got to, in order for me to know that God is present in my circumstances, I've got to be close to him. I've got to be right here to be able to see him. Okay? Thank you. It is not. Here's the other thing. Listen. Sometimes we blame God for our circumstances. We blame God. Do you know that if Trudy Hankins would have blamed God for her son dying, do you know that she would have had this thing against God to where she probably wouldn't be living for him today? Because she would have had this hatred and this thing in her to where she wouldn't be living for him today. She is living for God today. She is moving on. She is pressing on. She says in one of her blogs, she says, look, it's not that I don't hurt. She says, I hurt every single day. And every single day I'm reminded somehow of Logan. They live in a small town. It's not like she's going to go out somewhere and not be reminded of Logan and who he was. But the thing about it is she says, you know what? I may never be completely whole again. But if I give up, then guess what? My other 3 kids suffer. My husband suffers. My friends that I have in my life, they suffer. Because I've given up. You may be here tonight, and I don't know, maybe you've lost somebody that's close to you. Okay? Or maybe, just maybe, you've had a tragedy, or you've had something that has happened to you that you would say, I've never quite got over it, or somehow, some way, it has hindered me. It's kept me down. As we go through this Fighter series, I want you to be inspired by these people and what they've been through, but I want you to be even more inspired by the fact that they did not give up. Despite their bad circumstances and tragedies and disasters in their life, they did not give up. They kept on, and they kept on.